So I had prepared a lot of things to say. All of them have gone now. Because if today works out, it's going to be I'll start believing in God. I sabotaged my talk just before coming here by yanking off a cable, input device from my computer, so I'm not even using my computer anymore. It started from there. So I think you mentioned about, James mentioned about Node 10 and Node 4, and those days, back in the day, someone mentioned Backbone. So I believe you remember continuation passing style when we passed callbacks into callbacks into callbacks, leading to callback hell, causing pyramid of doom. I experienced that today. One issue went into the other, and just kept on going. Though one thing that I learned is we keep talking about that the community is great, and every programming community seems to say that their community is great. Oh boy. You're not alone, man. You're not alone. I fell too many times technically today. So the community is great. I learned that today simply because today I have received so much help. Firstly from the js.la guys. Thank you so much, Rosebay and David. James, the speaker, he was like patiently telling me this happens, don't worry, and giving ideas, and we tried a bunch of things. One of them worked out. I could use my computer, but then we were like, okay, let's do this, and then we realized, okay, HDMI cable is not going to come all the way here. So we tried a bunch of things. Ultimately, Rosebay got out his computer. David went and got his sound thing, little thing over here. I shouldn't have shaken that. Okay, because this thing is loose as well. So there are a lot of things. And that's why I'm telling you, if this works out tonight, if this presentation goes all right, I'm going to start believing in God. I mean, my relation with God is like, so far, thank God it's Friday, you know, that's it. So now I will actually believe in God. So yeah, so my name is Walmik. I'm very thankful to you guys. I pray that you be a little bit patient because I can spectacularly screw this up. Because nobody makes music like this the way I'm going to show tonight. Nobody makes it like that. So there are already that chances of me screwing it up over there. So my name is Walmik. I work at PayPal. I'm a software engineer. And currently we are looking for senior engineers. If you're looking for a change, please do come and talk to me. I'm really interested in talking to you. We're looking for senior engineers. I have 2 requirements right now. The job is in the Bay Area, of course. But yeah, so I don't want to get too much into that. So yeah, and yeah, so before I go on, is there anybody over here who dabbles with music? So you don't have to be like a full-on producer. You could have like bought a guitar 6 years ago. It's lying in the corner now. You don't touch it anymore. That's perfectly fine. So many, I haven't seen so many hands before go up for this talk. So many people have dabbled into music. That's amazing, man. And what about people who listen to music? Like, really like to listen to music. Yeah, I should stop asking that. So that's great. So all my friends right from my childhood have been associated with music, either as musicians or have an intimate relationship with music, that they really like music so much that it forms the basis of their life. So I'm glad I'm with friends. I'll get going. I had prepared a lot of things. I'm telling you, I'm forgetting all of them. So Web Audio API, yeah. So creating electronic dance music with JavaScript. And there are a lot of things to it. The reason why I selected electronic dance music is because if you have dabbled with music, you will probably realize that it's a pretty easy thing to get into as compared to any other form of music. You can quickly start putting together beats and stuff and songs and put them on SoundCloud and whatnot. So it's a pretty easy thing, just like JavaScript. JavaScript is not a very difficult language to get into and get started. So electronic dance music is a good candidate for generating music. Web Audio API. This is one of the most amazing things that has come out. It has been around for a while, but recently it kind of took off in a very brilliant way. Web Audio API gives us all the lower level power that we have on the computer to the browser to start processing audio. The best part is the audio processing itself takes place on its own thread, and it's not on the main UI thread, which is why there's no latency and you get precise timing. Timing is a very important thing when it comes to music. It has to be precise, otherwise you don't have a song, you don't have music. So Web Audio API gave that. I'm using a lot of Web Audio API, but I'll talk about that later. Scribbletune, this is the library that I put together. And it started with just the first point, MIDI export capability from JS mid-gen. This is a very nice module. What it does is it exports MIDI files. So my module would provide some interface for you to build musical ideas and export them as MIDI files using this JS midgen. That's what Scribbletune was till today early in the morning, because I released the major version just like today morning. So just before that, Scribbletune was just that, export MIDI files. And then I have given this talk before, and I would import those MIDI files into something like Ableton Live. Anybody use Ableton Live? Oh, great. So I would import it into Ableton Live and make the music there. And it was fun. Ableton Live gives you great sound, great synthesizers and effects and whatnot. But the problem is, I'm creating an open source library, but I'm using a $900 software. So it defeats the purpose, right? So Web Audio API to the rescue. So Web Audio API provides you the kind of bells and whistles you need to create electronic dance music without actually having to depend on a software like Ableton Live or Propellerhead Reason or Cubase or what have you. Everything in the browser. The second thing is the Web Audio API. I must mention this. Web Audio API wrapper is from Tone.js. This guy, Yotam Man, he's from New York. He wrote this brilliant library called Tone.js. It gives you like a very nice, easy to use wrapper around all the Web Audio API methods. Though I felt that it was a bit difficult to put them together to actually make a song. It's one thing to put some loop or just one pattern and play it in the browser. That's fine, and there are a lot of demos out there which do that. But they are not going towards the point where they'll actually produce a whole track. Or can you imagine a DJ walks into the club with a browser and that's it? And he does it all over there, right? So I want us to go there. So which is why I abstracted some of that functionality from Tone.js, got it into Scribbletune, and yeah, so it's available in Scribbletune. And the last thing is chords and scales. This is from yet another library called Tonal. I used to have this functionality in my own library. I had written all the music theory part in it. But I realized that there's this guy, he's in Spain, Danny G. I reached out to him, very friendly guy. He has dedicated himself to write a library that is just purely about providing access to music theory via arrays, which is what Scribbletune needs. It needs arrays and strings to proceed with its patterns. And then some, which is what we're going to talk about. So sessions, if you have used with Ableton Live, they have this thing where you can have multiple channels of sounds or some synths. And then you can have clips on each of those channels. And then on the right side, there's this thing where you can hit a button and it'll play all the clips from the same row. So this kind of functionality. So Scribbletune provides that. You can use your chord names and scale names right inside the code. Patterns, which I will discuss a little bit later. String and array functions. So you guys already are. Is there any JavaScript programmer here tonight? Okay, I'm in the right place then. Okay, so you guys already know string and array functions, so you just use them and mangle strings into some complex structures that you can use as your base for your clips. Today I will not get into any complex structures because I want to keep it as simple as possible so that I can explain the ideas. And yeah, in the browser. Earlier on, Scribbletune was all about only in the terminal, produce your MIDI clips, get them into Ableton Live, and that's about nothing to do with the browser. So now it's entirely in the browser. In fact, I'm using ROS-based computer. I did not have to do anything. I had to just clone my repo, and that's about it. That's how amazing it is. It's entirely in the browser. I didn't have to get any software or anything. And the last point is, this is an important point, Scribbletune actually makes society safe for us and for our children. And I'll prove that by the end of this presentation. I hope I do. Okay, so this is all this I wanted to actually type in another project that I had cloned, but for some reason Webpack won't run, and it's going to take some time. So I'm just going to explain it from the slides. This is the most little amount of code that you can write in Scribbletune. Obviously, the first line is explanatory. You're importing some methods from Scribbletune. At this point, you're just importing something called clip and transport. Transport is just a way to start the music, and transport provides methods to stop the music as well. And the next method is clip, which we imported, which takes a single object as its only argument. And the clip is like a container of a musical idea. So again, I shook it. I'm scared about that thing now. So if that works out, I'm going to believe in God, right? So there's a lot at stake here. So the clip method takes only one object. What you do is this: you provide it a sample. This sample is just like it's like a URL. It's a relative URL over here, which is fine. But I have got this directory called sound somewhere, and in there are some wave files. Actually, this is a good time to check if this sound is screwed up or what. Okay, so here I have some samples. I have this public folder and I have these samples. And in there, with a short prayer, sound is still there. Okay, perfect. This is beautiful. So yeah, hallelujah. No kidding, man, seriously. I've remembered all the gods since the time I started fixing this. Okay, so this pattern thing, the other thing is the pattern over here. It's just an X over there. So patterns are a very integral part of Scribbletune. It's a very small language. It has only 2 or 3 characters. Actually 3, I'm just going to cover 2 today. X, which stands for note on, and minus, which stands for note off. We'll discuss these patterns a little bit more as we go along, but this is the most littlest code that you can write with Scribbletune. If you wrote this code and run it in the browser, I wanted to do that right now, but my Webpack is screwed up. So you'll have to believe me that it will run that sound file in this pattern. This pattern is a quarter note, which is like a downbeat on a bar of music. So if you have a bar of music that goes like 4 notes in that bar, so that each downbeat is a X, is a single X, double X, triple X. Okay, so patterns, note on, note off, X is a note on, minus is a note off. The square braces are a way to subdivide a single pattern further. So if you have X, it would look, okay, this thing has already subdivided it. Actually, ignore this plus. It has its own pattern, its own subdivision. So when you do X, it only means 1 quarter note. The browser is only going to denote it as a quarter note and is going to play that. And since we are talking about electronic dance music, which is basically very repetitive, it's all loop based. So this quarter note will keep on going again and again and again, and just keep on happening like continuously till you do transport.stop. So this is X, it is not subdivided, it's just the screen. If you do something like this, it's like giving, now this is, there are 2 of them actually. It's confusing like hell, I know that, but actually just visualize this 1 and 2, because that's 1 X and the second X. This is going to get, see, the problems don't end, you know, right? It just keeps on and on. Now there are 4 X's, but we are seeing 8. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4X. And now this is a minus. Minus, and I've graded out. Again, please visualize this as a single square, a rectangle. And this is just 1 minus, not 2 of them. So that grayed out note, it implies a rest or a stop or a note off. So if it was a software, or if it is the web audio API, whatever it is going to not play for that 1 downbeat, that whatever note it wants to play. These are 2 of them, not 4. And these are actually 2 of them over there now. There's an X, and so there's just 1 X and 1 minus, so 1 blue and 1 gray. X minus, X minus. So I'm just displaying some patterns, right? Now this is a subdivision. Actually,
there we go.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So I'll go back. So you get the picture, right? Now I think I'll let the sound take over and hopefully explain what I'm trying. So this one is pretty interesting. You must have heard in countless dance tracks where there's this rise which goes like, it goes on, right? And there's a rise and then there's a drop or something like that. So this pattern thing really helps to define that very quickly. You just keep on doing X, 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 and then do a subdivide and keep on dividing further on, and I'll demonstrate that today if this thing doesn't screw up. And that's further, I think I'll get out of this. Oh, here's a way by which you divide one pattern and subdivide the inner pattern, and you can keep on doing a inception kind of thing, so that you can keep on subdividing patterns and creating an interesting rhythm out of it, which we'll hopefully see today. Presets. There are so Scribbletune also provides an interface to a lot of synths right inside the browser. Those synths are cannot be really compared with what Ableton Live or the commercial softwares provide, but they do have the they do have that thing which says that one day this will come to that level, because it's still in the browser, so the memory that you're getting available for your code to run is pretty minimal. But so I'll just digress a little bit. Recently, Chrome 66 released or made it official that audio worklets are now part of Chrome. Once upon a time, script processor node was the de facto way of doing these things. Script processor node would run on its own thread, and the main UI thread where all the user is moving the mouse or typing something or scrolling or something, all those events, those are in that thread. But this script processor node, this thing would have some hooks right into the main UI thread because of its asynchronous nature, which is fine. But because of that, it introduced a little bit of latency. Audio worklets are a solution for that. There is no hook in here. So audio worklets work entirely in their own thread, giving us precision, serious precision, so that you can actually go ahead and start making music applications right in the browser and take it very seriously. It's not like just some toy thing where some loop is running and you hit play and then it does the same thing over and over. It's not that anymore. Effects. So Scribbletune has effects as well. And the lingo to do that is just put a colon there next to the synth and it will give you an effect. Same for the effects. There is an array called effects. You can use the basic effects that are provided via tone.js. I must not forget that. Chorus, reverb, and phaser, and ping pong delay, and what have you. Okay, make some noise finally. So how do I get out of this? Okay, so I'm going to do some live coding, and hopefully I won't screw up. Visual Studio Code. This is the first time I'm using this. But that's fine. I mean, I can't complain. Rosebay has helped me a lot tonight, and this by giving the computer, the editor, access to his terminal, access to a lot of things. I think I'll send an email to myself. No, I'm kidding. So I had two projects that I wanted to demo. The first one is where the Webpack screwed up. The second one is where it was a bit more elaborate demo. In the first one, I wanted to just write like 3 lines and showcase that, oh wow, what Scribbletune can do. But I can't do that anymore. So I'm going to go to the bigger project. Here I have a React app. I've used, I'm sure you guys are acquainted with it, create React app module, which removes all the tooling and just gives you the app to kind of just play with the components and stuff and not worry about how this Babel is going to transpile, none of that. So I have this app over here, I have my reducer over here, and I'm going to start it. Oh, it's already started. Okay. So ideally, in the good world, I wanted to demo this thing where I had only one. Now there are so many. I had only one, and I wanted to write code just for that one and showcase how easy it is to play with samples. Those are sample files that I have on my hard drive over here. These are the sample files that I have, like a clap sound. Sound is still working. God exists. There's a kick drum. There's a open hat. So as you can see, these are just sound samples. This is not loops, so this is not music per se. You are going to provide this music to Scribbletune and give it this simple x and minus pattern, and Scribbletune is just going to play that. And you can provide as many clips as you want, and they will all play in perfect time thanks to the Web Audio API. So just to demonstrate something quickly, I'll just make a pattern. So what I've done is, this is a React app, and I have put a input field, and so these are the columns. These columns signify either a sound sample or a synth provided by the Web Audio API via tone.js. So either they are sound samples or synths, actual synths. So I'm not using some pre-rendered loops or anything like that. So this kick, right? I'm just going to put together a pattern, try to subdivide it as I go, and we'll just see how it sounds, okay? How about, are you guys able to see what I'm typing? Okay.
There are X's and dashes.
Yeah, just X's and dashes, and you can randomly throw them, and hopefully it'll sound good. So now I submitted that thing to the form or whatever, and now I have this play button over here. If I play that, okay, so something like that. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of typing it over there so that I don't end up into some issue, I'm going to just open the initial state of the reducer. Where is it? Okay, so here's the kick, and it is just, as you can see, I've set up the wave sample for it. All I have to do is just give it an object and give it a pattern. This is the pattern that I created, which sounded kind of okay, so we'll stick to it. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Okay. Now if I reload this thing, okay. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to go to the next one, the CH. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give it a pattern. Please bear with me. I'm not used to this keyboard, but it's fine. I'm going to just subdivide and just leave it at that much. Come on, okay. And I have this play all row, which is like Ableton Live. Okay, and I'm going to do one more for this guy. For the open hats, again I have to give it a pattern. Let's say I do this pattern with. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, and then I'll give one more, and then we'll see how it sounds. This is a clap sound, and I'll just do, yeah, how about that? Okay, let's listen it. Yeah. Okay, not bad, huh? So what I want to do is, I don't want to directly start with a beat. So I want to start with some silly melody that then ends up into the beat, which we will put in the synth. So since this is an array, it is going to keep on adding stuff to this playlist kind of thing that I have, or your session as I call it. And I'm going to give it a pattern. And since this is a synth, I need to give it some notes as well, because the earlier things were sound. They were sound samples, so you didn't need to provide any notes. So yeah, so I'm going to give this a pattern of, I'm just keeping on subdividing, and then the notes that I would like to give it are, okay, notes is an array, F3, so F is a note, 3 is the octave. If you have dabbled with music, it may make sense to you. So I'm going to take one more note, F4, on another octave, then G3, and then G sharp 3. Okay, let's just see how this sounds. Okay. Before that, I need to yeah. So now that is not produced by samples, that is produced by the web audio API, which is using a synth. And just one more thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to copy this guy. Okay, this seems fine. Okay, so the idea is to start like this. Okay, one more time. And then, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And now I'm going to continue this for just maybe 3 more minutes, 3.5 minutes, where you'll get seriously bored looking at me try to figure out how to type over here. But please bear with me. I will give you a kick. So, I'm going to do something like, so this is another, I'm just repeating the kick pattern again. And the closed hats, and the open hats, and the clap. And what I'm going to do is, for the synth, I'm just going to change the pattern a little bit. So these notes are now going to be F#3, F3, and the pattern is going to be, I'm going to just reduce it a bit. Okay, I hope this works out. Okay, it looks like it worked out. So I'm going to start here. And then okay. It's silly, isn't it? So I'm going to just keep on doing it for, like I said, 3.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes is over. Now just because I promised a kick, right? So okay. So one more time. No. Wait. We'll just keep an empty thing over here, and then we will have this guy. Okay. This guy, and then one more empty over here. And one more empty over here. I'm really surprised I'm not making any JavaScript errors. Because this is, look at that. I mean, I could miss a comma, I could miss a, I said it too soon probably, because now it might happen. It usually works that way. So yeah, Brave, the browser. Yeah, so now I have this thing going on. Let's just see if I broke something. I didn't break anything. So as you can see, I have that silly little synth thing going on over here. Then I bring a beat in over here at this row. Over here, I just make it slightly less silly. And then I continue here with nothing over here. So we'll have a moment of silence over here. And then we'll follow it up with something else in the next row, which is going to be at a beat level, is going to be the same thing for this part at least. And then I'll continue with the same silly synth thing. And now I'll bring in this thing called fat kick. Okay, so but before that I need to probably, so yeah, what is this? Okay. So at the moment I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the fifth one I want, so I want 4 empty. So in a real application, you would obviously not do it like this. You'd probably provide a user interface for folks to keep on adding stuff, copy clips over, create empty clips. I didn't want to go into too much into that because today's focus is more on web audio, not on user interface for web audio. Though I have something put together just to be able to share these ideas. But in a real application, you would obviously not depend on putting these things together like this. You'd probably provide some buttons or something so that users can directly access all of that. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know I'm taking too long. Closed hat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I copied this one. I was getting the kick, right? Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is, since I have the first 4 empty, I'm going to copy 4 empty objects. Okay, and then bring in this kick, and the pattern is going to be really simple. It's just going to be a single X, which is 1 downbeat on every quarter note, and it doesn't need a note because it's a sample. And the same I'm going to carry forward for the bass, because that also I'm using a sample, not a synth, but the pattern would change to just this much. Now with a short prayer, I start like this. Oh wait, I'm just going to make this guy a bit more. How about repeat a string function 7 times and then plus x, subdivide the other x. All right. I didn't break anything. Okay, so we start like this with that silly synth. Okay. Okay, so, oh, thank you. What I'm going to do is, I can keep on adding this stuff like this, but I had promised you I'm going to show, I'm going to display this subdivide thing a little bit better. So in this reducer, I'm just going to bring in a partially completed track so that I can just focus on the, I wanted to do a lot more coding. I wanted to showcase some array functions and use them in interesting ways, combine them and all that, but I think it's just going to take too much time. So I'll just bring in this partial session. I have this partial session now, and it has the initial part that we created, right? No need to go through that again. But what I have is now I have some areas where I can really add some more meat to it. So if I go back to this, my partial session, okay, and then okay, here I'm going to add one pattern. Okay, at the moment it's just one X with 3 minuses followed by. I'm going to make it a bit more intricate. So I will do okay, okay, and then actually okay, I'm going to abuse the linter now, because this line is going to go beyond 80 columns for sure. Okay. But before that, let's listen to it how it sounds. So I've added a arpeggio kind of a thing. So the thing is, what I want to demonstrate is this clap, which is going to go like, come on. This is going to start.
I think you forgot a break.
Maybe it's possible.
Oh no, there it is.
It is there? Oh. No, I didn't. Right? Why won't it play? Wow, it's not. Oh, I screwed up the sound. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. Because none of that is playing now. Right? None of it is playing. I screwed the sound. Oh, boy. Oh, man, I think it's gone. Okay, so what can I do? I'm sorry, the sound is gone. I mentioned, right, that this thing is also kind of.
There's a gun in the first act. Said if there's a gun in the first act.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to. Good God, sound is gone. I almost came to believing in God.
See if we can do Bluetooth real quick.
Huh?
See if we can do Bluetooth real quick. Yep. Just go to Bluetooth.
Okay.
Bluetooth icon. Yeah. Open Bluetooth. Oh, did we compare it?
Maybe not. Is it this guy?
Maybe. Connect. The bottom. All right, go to Bluetooth preferences.
Yeah. If you hold shift and hit the speaker button, it'll make a sound.
And scroll down.
Just,
Scroll
okay.
down. There you go, connect. Okay. Now try it.
And do I need to set the audio here? Okay.
That's good. Yeah, try
So what have we got over here?
Reload the page.
Okay. Nope.
Open up a new tab. Open up a new tab and then just navigate.
Oh, navigate to it, okay. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, thank you, everyone. The one thing I promised is, yeah, so one thing I promised before going was I wanted to talk about the future of music and all that, screw that. But I promised that I will tell you how Scribbletune helps to secure our society and make it safe for our children. I promised that, and I'm going to prove it now. So you install Scribbletune, make music all night, keep pumping all night, and keep your neighbors awake.
Yes.
An awake neighborhood is a safe neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much.